Hello and welcome to Off the Fence, a podcast where we deconstruct difficult decision making so we can try to figure out what keeps us stuck and, more importantly, how do we get unstuck. I'm your host, Karen Covey, a former divorce lawyer, mediator, and arbitrator turned coach, author, and entrepreneur. And with me today, I am so excited. I have really been looking forward to this because my guest is Bela Gandhi. Bela is a dating and relationship expert, a TEDx speaker, and the founder of Smart Dating Academy. She's been featured on most national local media outlets, including Good Morning America, Steve Harvey, The Today Show, Kelly Clarkson, Access TV, ABC, NBC, Fox, and more. After she graduated from the University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, Bela worked in mergers and acquisitions for a year before joining her family's chemicals and manufacturing company, where she divided her time between Chicago and Europe, helping to expand the business. When the Gandhi family sold its business to Fortune 500 company ExxonMobil, she was asked to remain its leader, which she did, but even as she quickly climbed the corporate ladder, Bela had a feeling that her career would one day be taking a sharp turn in a different direction because she discovered her love of matchmaking and providing dating advice. So Bela launched Smart Dating Academy in 2009, and it has quickly become one of the nation's top date coaching firms and teaches busy, successful professionals to jumpstart their dating lives successfully. Bela, welcome to the show.
Oh, Karen, I've been looking forward to this since we talked about it. So thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here.
Oh, you are absolutely welcome. And I'd like to start, as Simon Sinek would say, with your why. Why dating and relationship coaching? What drew you into this area out of the corporate world?
So I had been matchmaking my friends and myself since I was in college, and I was very good at it. I will be married 27 years this year to my husband and help so many of my friends find healthy, happy love that I knew that this was the work that I was meant to do. So I went from being a corporate matchmaker, I'm kind of kidding, to really starting my own business in 2009. And I haven't looked back one day since then. This is what I was put on earth to do. And I'm really, really delighted to be able to do it. And what's so interesting, I never set out with this, Karen, that in the past 15 years, with the thousands of clients that we have helped find love, many decide that they want to get married. And of those, none have gotten divorced.
None?
None that we're aware of. Zero. So
That
it's amazing.
is that
Crazy.
is amazing. Wow. So, all right, now you've really got me intrigued. What's your secret sauce? How do you put people together who are evidently so well matched that they stay together?
So, what we do at Smart Dating Academy is we're teaching people how to date, how to find love that lasts, and how to be a good partner. Were any of us ever taught that in school? Never, ever, ever, right? We're sort of left to bumble through it on our own. So we have a process that we've created that, helps people to understand what they need in a relationship to be really happy. Then we help them to create a plan that includes online dating, meeting people in real life, and getting set up by people to help find great candidates. We have them have a dating funnel, which and I'm really abridging this, that we help them manage through. So we're like personal trainers for their love lives, helping them in the weeds. What about this guy? What about this guy? This one's got to go back to the swamp. He's terrible. And ultimately, we help people to narrow down their funnel to one person that looks like he'd be great or she'd be great, a good lid to the pot. And then after that, we enter into phase two, which is making sure that this relationship is in alignment. So, what we are not doing is Yenta style matchmaking for people, which is an outdated way, really, because what people need is a methodology to know, is this person a good person, or am I just going to repeat another red flag relationship?
Wow. You just said so much. I don't even know where to start with this. I am so excited. But it sounds to me, and if I don't know if this is what you mean by not Yenta style dating, right? But it sounds like you're not just helping somebody set up an online profile and then go find somebody and, okay, go have a nice life. You're actually helping them with the foundation of what do they want in a relationship, what makes a good relationship. And so you kind of work with them past just like date number one.
Oh my gosh, the average tenure of us, we work with our clients for a year, right? And so we have a whole process that we help people work through. Like I was saying, we're personal trainers for our clients' love lives. And there's no one-hit wonders here. You don't turn off your contract at 3 dates because there's one that looks promising. That's, kind of famous last words. Just let me see how this one goes. So it's very much having guidance. We're like wrapping bubble wrap around you if you're our client for the process, so you don't get dinged up and hurt and broken through the process.
Oh my gosh, that is so important because, as you know, I work with people who are going through, thinking about going through, or have recently been through a divorce. And so many people, I mean, you want to talk about dinged up? Divorce is a great way to get you dinged up. And I know a lot of my
Oof.
clients are, they're gun shy, or they say to me, I haven't been on a date in blah, blah, blah years, right? And
Yeah.
that blah, blah, blah could be a lot of years, right? What would you tell them before they just jump into the dating pool?
You don't do it on your own, right? Because the data show that if first marriages dissolve at a rate of 40 to 50%, second marriages 67%, third marriages 74%. So takes a dang village to find love. Build yourself a good village. I wish back in our days, Karen, when I was dating, at least the dating coaches existed. They didn't, right? And so find yourself someone that will really support you and is educated about this. This is not something for your well-intentioned friends and family to help you with. If you needed root canal, you wouldn't ask your cousin who's a lawyer to do your root canal. So there's all of these things that we need to kind of destigmatize. And the most important thing you'll do is the search for finding love again, especially to your point, post divorce, when you've been dinged up, because divorce has massive costs financially, emotionally, collaterally, and you don't want to end up in that bucket all over again. So get some help around this from professionals.
I could not agree more. And as somebody who I know you and I, we've known each other a short time, couple of months, but you don't know this about me. I dated for a very long time before I found my husband, who I am absolutely thrilled to have found. But I know you talk about when you're working with your clients, having a dating plan. I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe if I knew it was a thing, it wouldn't have taken me so long to find him. But what is a dating plan? What do people, how can people make a dating plan?
Right. Like anything big you want to accomplish in your life, you've got to have a plan. You can't just even say, I want to lose 20 pounds and just, hope and wish that it's going to fall off of you. You need to have a plan and then you need to stick to the plan. And so a good dating plan involves the three pipelines that I had mentioned: using the apps in the right way, getting set up by your friends and family on dates, and then having a strategy to meet people in real life. You want to know and really ask yourself, what do I want this time around? And be really honest with yourself and honest with other people about what you're looking for, and not accept red flags. And you don't want to be a red flag yourself.
Okay, so when you say be really clear on what you're looking for, typically when, because I will admit that back in the day I did this myself. Okay, what are you looking for in a date, right? And most people will tend to list like looks, how tall they are, what size they are, what color their hair is, what their profession is or something like that. Is that good enough or do people need to do more than that?
They should do more than that, right? Because good on paper sometimes isn't even worth the paper it's written on from a relationship standpoint. So often we tend to overcorrect. For example, I will get successful women that, have been ballers in their careers, and maybe their husbands haven't kind of flown in the airspace they do, and they divorce, and now they're like, oh, this time I want someone, if I have X on my balance sheet, I want someone who's got minimum of 2X. It's like, that wasn't the reason that your relationship fell apart, right? You don't have any money problems. And someone with more money isn't going to solve that problem. So it's really about, you know, juicing out what the issues actually were and making sure you don't repeat those all over again. It's very rarely about the money. It's very rarely about the career. There's larger issues that loom.
That is so, so telling. I mean, I have to tell you, if people take nothing else from this interview, just like understanding that is huge, because I think when people see it, it's easy to blame the money. It's easy to blame he wasn't ambitious, I was, or she didn't, she was more concerned about the kids, not me, or, you take the problem at a surface level. How do you help people get below the surface to figure out what the real issue was?
Yeah, what's the why, right? And it usually comes down to being afraid to use your voice, or your voice has been shut out, right? And so people exist for so long in that way, and it makes it look like money is the issue, these different things. And ultimately, it's that breakdown in the friendship, the breakdown in talking to each other from an authentic place and receiving what your partner has to say to you. That's where the breakdown begins. And that's when all the other maladies can happen. Like saying, my divorce was over money. It's kind of like saying, well, I have a cough. Well, your cough could be caused by 50 different things. You've got to get to the symptom before you're going to say, do I need an antibiotic? Do I need some tea with honey? What is going to help me? And you have to figure out what the root cause was so that you don't do it all over again.
Yeah. And I tell my clients, it's like you can get a divorce, but you're going to take yourself into the next relationship.
Wherever
So
you go, there you are.
exactly. And so it's about doing the work here in yourself so that the next time you get in a relationship, it is what you want. It's better. But I know so many of my clients are worried about red flags. They're like, I thought I picked well the first time. Things didn't work out. I ended up getting a divorce. How can I, trust my pick? Or what are the real red flags that someone should be worried about?
Yeah, I mean, that's the $1,000,000 question, right? I mean, this is what we coach our clients on a daily basis at Smart Dating Academy. Is that just a bad habit, or is that a red flag? And and are you triggered by something that isn't really a red flag? So there's so much to that question, but the easy things that I can tell you if you're listening to this and you're just beginning is read, for example, when you're reading a profile, if somebody's profile has a negative tone and says, please do not contact me if, and they kind of go on like all the things you shouldn't be, right? Please don't contact me if you're into drama, right? That's a red flag. If somebody's leading with negativity, what do you think their mind space is? Negative. Does that sound like someone most of us want to be with? No. Move on.
It sounds like that's a good tip for when you're writing your own dating profile, that
Right?
it's kind of a reality check of where your head is. If everything that you've written is negative, mm,
Yeah. Call me. Right? We revise profiles all the time, right? Because it's hard to know what to write in your profile. Your profile isn't your what I learned in my divorce manifesto, right? This is why does somebody want to connect with you?
well, I think people have such a hard time. They feel like they're tooting their own horn, or they're being, braggers, or it's awkward to write a dating profile. What do you tell people how they can do that?
Right. So you really, I mean, writing a profile, Karen, is one of the toughest things that people do. And in our one-on-one, in our boutique coaching practice, I had writers that used to write people's profiles. And now I turned that into kind of a Mad Libs template for our clients, that they answer 8 questions and then boom, out spits an online profile that's great for different sites. So there is a way. What I can tell you is, think about the interesting things, the little quirky things that make you you, right? Almost like cocktail party conversation starters. Like, what's something interesting about you? And not putting fun, quirky things like that in your profile not only helps you to stand out, but also helps people to start conversations with you. Because if not, it's like, oh, I'm fun, I'm just as casual, I'm just as happy, being dressed down as I am, at a black tie. I like long walks on the beach. Move on. Who doesn't? Right. I like to, go out to eat. Really? Who doesn't? Not unique, right? So, really thinking about interesting, quirky things about you. And that's what our profile book helps to really elicit from our clients.
That is absolutely brilliant because I mean, I haven't been on a dating site for, a very long time. I've been married 15 years, but I do have kids and and it's just they're all everything starts to look generic after a while. The only thing different is the picture.
Yeah. And you've got to have great photos.
Uh,
You've
say
got,
more about that.
so your photos, the biggest mistake people make is thinking, oh, I'm just going to get on the apps, right? I'm going to take some photos of me, whatever I've got in my cell phone, and throw those up there and see what happens. Bad, bad strategy. If you were going to sell your house, would you take 6 janky photos from your cell phone of what your house looked like the day after Christmas or during a dinner party because that's all you had? No, you would say, wow, I better, get some advice from my realtor and have a photographer come in and stage my house and make it look good and all the rooms, look optimizing. This is how you need to think about yourself and your photos. Your photos do not exist in a cell phone. I promise you. And all the studies show that we don't pick the best photos of ourselves. So through this, and my clients are drinking the Kool-Aid because we have a photo studio that they come to where we've given them concrete outfit advice, whether they're men or women, no matter what you look like, what your age is, what your body type is. And we have them come in 5 to 6 different looks that really best suit them. And we do private headshots and body shots of them so that they're looking their best. And this is not to catfish someone. This is really, we have a no Photoshop policy. So it's looking as good as you do in real life online. Most people look worse in their photos than they do in real life. If people are telling you, oh, wow, God, you're so much prettier in person than your photos, usually people are like, oh, that's great, I want to do that. I'm like, no, you're underselling. Would you do that with your house?
Yeah.
No. You want to maximize the amount of great buyers. And it's the same thing for photos. Couple of quick tips: make sure that your photos are no more than 1 year old, not 2 years old, not 3 years old, not 2 hair shades ago and bangs ago. You need photos that look like you today, less than a year old. And if you change your hair color midstream, guess what? You're going to need new photos, right? And you've got to have body shots and headshots. No other people in your photos. No one needs to know that you have friends. We all know that you've got friends. Maybe you've got kids. Maybe you've got grandkids. They're looking to date you.
Okay, what about if you have a dog?
Look, I am kind of a purist about this. If one of my clients is really, oh, I've got to have a picture of my pooch in there, that's fine. But sometimes we unwittingly eliminate people that could be perfect for us, but may not be dog lovers. Or may say, oh my God, my ex was obsessed with her dogs. Any women that have dogs in their photos, no way. Again, we make these errors of correlation versus causation, right? So keep your photos of you and only you.
I love that. And I love that you're telling people go get current photos because
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you walk in the door and somebody's still looking for the you that they thought they were going to have, but it was the you from 10 years ago.
And it's the first act of self-sabotage. It's game over at that point. And you're not getting your foot in the door. Oh, I'm going to wow them with these photos of me 30 pounds ago or 5 years ago. No, they're going to say, you catfished me. Game over.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I know like back in the day when I was still dating, I had some experiences like that, we will just
Bet.
say.
I
And you
bet.
don't, I mean, I just don't understand why somebody would do that because you think the date isn't gonna notice that you don't look the same.
Oh, they notice. They're looking for inconsistencies from the time you arrive. Women are like, okay, how tall is he? Did he overestimate or not? We're looking because we ultimately, the first thing we want to know is authenticity. Is this person telling the truth or not? And our brains have a negativity bias. So that's just the way humans are wired. And we're going to do that first. So, my best advice is don't white lie or fib about anything in your profile. Not your age, down by a couple of years, because, I'm a really young 59. I'm like, if I had a dollar for every person that said that to me, every person does say that to me. Right?
Yeah.
And so tell the truth because it's one less thing to worry about in the dating world. We carry the weight of those little white lies on us like, oh, I said I was 35, but I'm 38. Ooh, is he looking at the lines around my eyes? Oh, he's figured it out, right? You're not invested in the date. You're thinking about yourself and you're not projecting connected energy.
That is brilliant. That is just absolutely brilliant. Plus, if you have, when you make the little white lies, you've got to keep them straight. And if things do work out, what are you going to be doing 5 years from now when all of a sudden your then spouse finds out that he or she's been lied to all along?
It's awful. I've seen it happen. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. So I love that. But let's go back if we can to red flags because I know that people are always they're trying to figure out what are the red flags? What should I be really worried if I see who knows what, right? So are there any other like common major red flags that should send somebody, back make them back off a little bit and go, I don't know if this one's for me.
I mean, if something sounds too good to be true, it might be, right? And if somebody says that they're working on an oil rig right now or Doctors Without Borders and they're stationed in Saudi Arabia, it's probably someone and they look like George Clooney or a mall, right? They're probably just out to, they're up to no good, let's just say. And if somebody is asking you too much personal information over the sites and over messaging, right? And especially if somebody even says, like, oh my gosh, and I've had this happen to people. They've come to me. Nobody ever gets catfished at Smart Dating Academy, but I've got stories of people that are brilliant authors, PhDs, very well respected public figures that will say, oh my God, I had this relationship with this guy who was coming from London. And on the way to the airport, he got into some trouble. The car got wrecked. And he was like, oh my God, my wallet was thrown out of the car. We can't find it. Can you just Venmo me $500? Right? Because I just need to get my car towed so I can get to the airport to come and see you. People fall for this all the time.
You're kidding.
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. So don't, and it sounds strange to you and me sitting here, but when you're in it, Karen, and this
Yeah.
person has been wooing you for the last month and you feel this level of intimacy, it's very intoxicating and we want to believe. We want to believe in the
Yeah.
fairy tale. Right. And so this is why we're in the weeds with people going, throw them back to the pond. So we've never had a catfishing incident.
Wow, that is amazing because I
Yeah.
have heard stories, nightmare stories
Yeah.
about people who get in relationships with these people they've never actually met.
Yeah.
and things can go badly pretty quickly.
Yeah, terrible. So, yeah, all those
Is
red flags. Trust your gut. If something seems off, it probably is, and get some help.
is there I know this is probably a hard question to answer, but is there an amount of time that you should talk to somebody offline before you, or before you meet them in person, like on the phone or on a video call, on however you connect with them? Is there a certain amount of time that after that you should say, no, we really need to meet in person?
Yeah, you always have to have a plan at some point to meet in person, but I'm not here to expedite that because my job as my client's dating coach is to protect their energy and to protect their time and their heart. So I have people follow a really good process. Go on a video date for 15 to 30 minutes before you agree to meet somebody out for a date, right? Because a video is worth 1,000 pictures. You can see what the person looks like 3D. People are so absurdly hungry to meet people in person on dates. I'm like, why wouldn't you do video first? Because you don't know if you're going to show up to a date, where it's 30 pounds ago, three teeth ago, just crazy can't hide for more than 10 minutes. People do a video date before you agree to go out with someone online. And I know you want to check the chemistry. I know we're all better in person than video. Oh, and I don't want to be on video. I'm on video all day for my job. I'm not hearing any reasons to not do video. I'm like, and you're going to do video before, and they thank us later. They're like, I'm not going on bad dates because they're protecting themselves.
That is absolutely brilliant. I never thought of a video date.
Right. And this is the thing, people don't think about video dates because, again, they're not taught how to do this.
This is just, Bella, this is gold for someone who wants a real relationship and not just, to casually date once in a while and whatever happens, happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm
That
so glad
is,
it's gold. That made my day.
no, really, this is just, I think it's brilliant. And I love the idea that that people have a plan and that they follow the plan and that you're there to support them long term. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. You're saying all the same things that I tell my clients while they're going through a divorce. And
Hmm.
nobody wants to think that it's going to be more than 2 weeks before they're done, right? Everybody wants to be out of it, but it doesn't work that way. And if you don't have a plan, you end up with what you end up with. So
Exactly. You're
I
right.
absolutely love this. Bella, I could talk to you forever. This is just fascinating stuff to me. But I know our time, I want to be respectful of your time. Tell people, if you can, where they could find you. If they're interested in really boosting their love life and forming real relationships, where do they find you?
So the first thing to do is go to smartdatingacademy.com, fill out a contact form, which even if you're not ready for contact, you can just write newsletter and you'll be put into our newsletter database. I'm the host of the Smart Dating Academy podcast. We have over 120 episodes. You can find it on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram at Smart Dating Academy. And we post a couple times a day and lots of funny, quirky, good advice that you'll love. So there's a lot of stuff out there on us.
Bella, this has just been such a wealth of information. I mean, the little tiny bit that you shared in this episode, I mean, if this is the kind of thing that you share on your podcast, in your newsletter, I can't encourage people enough to go join you, check out your Smart Dating Academy, check out the podcast. And for those of you who are out there and listening now or watching, if you like what you've seen, if you want more of this, if you like what you heard here, please, give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and thank you again, Bella. And I look forward to seeing all of you next time.